Hey everybody, what's going on YouTube? It's been a while, I know. Um, Actually, what happened was I'm not sure if I told this before, probably not because I didn't have a computer, but my computer broke, so I had to get an entirely new computer. That's why I've been gone for so long. Um, I had to save up for quite a few months in order to get a new computer. So here I am. I got a new computer, so it's great. I have a computer again, so that's great stuff. I mean, I was basically for all this time I've been using like I was doing like the bare bone minimum of like YouTube surfing. Like I had to do it on like my consoles because I didn't have a computer. Like I used my Wii U and like my PlayStation 3 to do stuff. But anyways, that's besides the point. I'm back. Hello, how you doing? It's been a while. So I thought I was like, let me test this out. Test out the new webcam and see what's what, and let me make a video talking about something because I thought about something a few days ago, and I wasn't sure if I shared this before. It's of course it's gaming related. That's why I wanted to share it. But I thought about it, I'm like, I really want to make a video of this. Um, so here I am, right? Let me see. The microphone should be good. Yeah. So let's get into it. I want to know if you ever had like a moment in gaming, like it could be. I mean, it probably the early days of when you first started gaming. Like, did you ever have like a traumatizing experience with the game? Like, it could be for any reason. It could be a reason that's silly, like just something that popped in your head that wasn't really there in the game, or something that just haunted you that wasn't supposed to in a game. Did any of you guys ever experience something like that? So that's what gets into my story. I wanted to talk about what happened to me. Well, there's a couple of things that happened when I was a child. I think it was when I was around like when I first started gaming. So that was I think I was 8. It was 1993. Um, it was when I first got the NES. That's when I first started to actually play games like at home. Because I mean, we played like arcades. Uh, for you youngin kids, if anyone young is watching this, we played arcades. Um, yeah, there's still arcades nowadays, sure, but it's not like it used to be. I mean, arcades is kind of a niche thing now. It's not really everywhere. But back then, well, when arcades was first starting out, you would find arcade cabinets anywhere. Like in a store, you'd find them. See, what happened was my mom used to go to the flea market back then, and they had Donkey Kong, and they had Dig Dug, and they had all those arcade cabinets, the old ones, Pac-Man, and all that stuff. And that's where I first played games, really. I know I'm going back. I like to go back and start, but no, I'll get right into it. Don't worry. But anyways, I got the NES in Super Mario Brothers 3. I had this moment. It was so scary to me. Just thinking about it gives me goosebumps, like the thought of it. I mean, you'll listen to it and you'll think, "What do you? That's not even." But you have to think of it from my point of view back then as a child. So basically, I think it's World 5, right? The Sky World. There's a world. I think it's World 5 where you start off on the ground, and they have like there's this fortress, this castle fortress that swirls up like a vanilla ice cream. You know how like the swirl when they put it on the cone? It kind of looks like that, and then later on when you beat that the land part, you go up to the sky and there's the clouds. It's the sky world, right? Well, that vanilla castle, I think, and the castle, the music, the castle music, do 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 boom boom, like that ominous music, and like I just remember that music. I just remember I could even just think of that moment. There's a part in that like castle dungeon where there's like these ropes with these like I don't know what it is really. I mean, I can't think of what it is. It's like these things hanging down from the ceiling. They're like in the background. There's these like ropes and there's like this circle. Um, but I remember when I was a kid, when I was so young, I was playing through it, and I got to that part and I stopped. And with the music and everything, like I thought that rope in the circle, whatever it is, I thought it was a noose, like a rope, and that immediately entered my brain, and then I was gonna say brine, like mind and brain, mixing up the words. I'm a dyslexic fuck. Um, but I just remember I thought it was a noose, and then I started getting scared with the music. I started getting really terrified. Like I was getting terrified. I just was thinking, like this castle, like Bowser, like hung people here, and like I would picture people hung inside the circle, like in around where the rope was, and I would see it in my mind, and like I just remember that was a point for me that was like, I remember I was so terrified of it. Like stuff like that. Has anything happened to you like where you would think something's there and it wasn't when you were a young child playing a game, or if something scared you? But that was a thing. I'm sure there's other times, but that's the one that sticks out that I can really remember the most. Besides the next one I'm gonna tell you. So I'm sure I mentioned this in one of my videos. I really don't remember. But after the Nintendo, I had a lot of Nintendo games. I didn't go to the Super Nintendo. I went to the Sega Genesis because my girlfriend at the time had a Sega Genesis. And when Sega Genesis brand new was a little bit cheaper than the SNES, that's how they wanted to market so they could get it into more people's homes. And it came with Sonic 2. Like that was the big thing, and I remember I got the Genesis, what I wanted, with Sonic 2, and I loved it, right? And I remember that time, man. Sonic was everything back then. He actually mattered. He actually was awesome. Not like the past decade. Anyways, I don't want to open up that can of worms. I already made a Sonic rant video, so. But anyways, I was getting all these Sega games when I had the console. I had a bunch of Genesis games. I was getting them. And there was one game that I got that traumatized the shit out of me. Now I made a playthrough on it. I don't know if I've talked about it into detail, but I did make a video about it and I shared, you know, the playthrough, and it's a game that's from my childhood. And that's this game, man. Now this isn't my original copy. I had to re-buy it, but I managed to get the CIB of it. It's Splatterhouse 3. This was the first game. This game is there's 3 games in the series, and this was the one that I got first. Like I didn't know about the other 2 games, well, because one, the first game was on TurboGrafx and arcades, and that was really it. So I couldn't play it. And the second game I did get later after this, which was on the Genesis. But this game right here, man, this fucking game, look at it. It still terrifies me to this day. Now, Splatterhouse 3 is a terrifying game, okay? Especially when you're a child. Even to this day, it terrifies me. It's probably because, my I'm emotionally tied to that memory, that fucking like, like that taboo memory of terror or whatever. It's probably that's why. I mean, if someone looked at it now, they might not think it's scary, but man, it's pretty terrifying. I just remember I got this game randomly. I forgot how I got it. And I played it, and it was the scariest thing I ever played. I was dreading, like the music scared me. Okay, it still scares me to this day. I think it's brilliant though. It's just a scary tone. Like the who's the composer? Milky Eco or Milky Ico or whatever the composer's name is. The person did a bang up job. like they created the embodiment of terror, like the music, and it's not just terror. It's also got a catchy beat to the songs. Like they're catchy, great tracks, but they're eerie and like they're super scary. And like I just remember that when I was a kid, I was playing it and I was terrified by everything. Like every single thing terrified me, right down to the fucking opening screen. This is a Genesis game, but this did have like an opening like screen. You know how like you like play a game today and you let it sit on the screen and it does an opening sometimes or whatever. This game had it's a fucking Genesis game and it had an opening screen and it was terrifying. Like I if you saw it, you must have saw it if you saw my playthrough or if you've seen it before, but the text going across the screen slowly in blood, the flashing like trippy uh you know you have like a freaking seizure flashing backgrounds and like it shows Rick with the terror mask on and he looks evil as like he's smiling and all of the shit is digitized like it's these are real people, these are real like life people that they show. It's like but they take pictures, it's like they digitize it into the game, like it's photorealism. It's and it made it even scarier like because of that. And like I just remember the actors, like the digitized actors and everything, and like the everything was like freaking creepy. And I just remember everything scared me, the opening down to the opening music, pressing the start button, going to the something as simple as going to the options screen where you can listen to the music and everything and change your controls and the difficulty. Just seeing it shows the still picture of Rick with the terror mask as the background. The realistic, photorealistic, digitized version. It's terrifying. And like I remember, I used to play the music, and like the boss music is terrifying. Like I just remember listening to the boss music, and I'm just sitting there with this face like, who created this? This is real. Someone created this. This is fucking terrifying. What, did Satan create this music? I'm like, this is the most terrifying shit. Dread, man. Fucking dread. You start the game, just each room dripping with blood, blood on the walls, photos looking eerie. Going into the kitchen, everything's rotted. There's pots and pans that have lids on them with blood seeping out of them. The fridge is slightly opened with like pools of guts falling out of the fridge. It's just for someone that was about 8 9 years old, that at that time in 1993, that was terrifying. Like that was just, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's tame nowadays, but that was terrifying back then. And I remember like just the first stage is the one that sticks to my mind the most. Although the whole game is eerie, but the first stage I remember so much because I replayed it so many times. And like I remember going through like every single room there's like a time limit and you have to get to the boss and beat the boss within the time limit, or your wife dies and her mind gets taken over by a mindless beast, or she gets eaten, or your son dies or whatever if you don't do these things in the time limit. But I remember just like going around and checking every room just to see what the rooms looked like. And I remember one that really scared me. Like everything scared me. Like there's a room where you go and there's this giant like old painting, like those old French paintings, or like something like old fashioned, like where there's like a queen in a chair and she's all dressed nice with the big hair, and it's like a black background, and her hands are on her lap, and like just like those one of those you know old like 50s 60s or whatever time frame like photo like paintings, right? And if you walk up to it, you hear this noise like and it shows like claws rip the photo, and then blood just drips down each one of the claws. Like that scared the shit out of me. Like the game would not stop scaring me. And I just remember when you get to I'm only going to talk about the first stage because I could be here for an hour talking about this entire game. But you get to the boss, and I mean, I didn't even talk about the creatures that you fight, like those giant, like grotesque, like fat monsters with the big mouths, and it just has like a big tongue, and their tongue stretches out like a hand at you, and it's like woo, and it's like a grotesque, detailed like arm tongue. It's just the imagination in the game is just insane. Like the detailed evil imagination, it's just like it knows no bounds. Um, and you get to the boss. I mean, let's not forget when you're going to the boss. If you're standing still, it wants you to progress. You know how like you do like a fighter because it's essentially a brawler. You know how you play brawlers and like if you wait too long, it's like go ding ding ding. It like blinks to go forward or like there's a hand or whatever. Well, in this game, there's like this little fucking grotesque hand that comes down from the top of the screen. So it's like it comes down and it's like this way. It's got sharp nails. That creeped the shit out of me. And the music, man, the music haunts me still to this day. Um, it's a brilliant soundtrack though. But like when you get to the boss, I remember like I can't believe this got passed, man. This was I know this was at the time and age where it was edgy to have blood in your games like Mortal Kombat came out and that's where the ESRB cut came from was the Genesis days. You know, like that's where it started because of Mortal Kombat. It was too bloody and it was blood and it was like too I remember parents used to fucking there was an uproar with parents at the time when Mortal Kombat came out. And that's how the ESRB got created. But anyways, I can't believe something like this slipped past it. It is mature rating. It says it right on the fucking box. If you see right here, it says MA mature. It says 13 though, 13 years old. Look at how grotesque that is. That's actually the boss right there. Um, you fight that in the first level, and dude, the music, that boss music terrifies me still to this day. Have a listen for it if you can. Just go to YouTube and type in Splatterhouse 3 boss music. It is terrifying, man. Your imagination just runs wild. Like it's like little terrors are running around in your imagination, like attacking you. That music, man. But anyways, like you walk up to him and there's this laughing like maggot thing, like this like I don't know what the hell it is. It's this laughing weird thing. You have to fight him later in another level. And then this fucking creature that I showed on the box, he's like chewing on something in the corner. He's eating, and there's like blood coming out of his mouth and like strands of gut strands. He's like eating something in the corner, and then you see, like, there's all these like cut off body parts of humans. There's just like there's like torsos with half a leg, and like there's like there's like ribs and like legs and arms all in the fucking corner, and there's this what I remember the most is there's this woman's head that's like the jaws cut off, so you just see this portion up, and her eyes are completely white. It's just white eyes. There's no pupils. It's just complete white. Her hair is just like her hair is pulled back on the ground, and there's just blood, and it's like I just remember that haunted me still to this day. I just remember that was it. I was done after all that shit. I remember I remembered that like I was so afraid of the game. I remember there was probably points where I was so frightened I would cry like out of fear. And I remember my mom like came in. She's like what's the matter? What why are you crying? And I just was like this game's too scary, and she got mad at the game. Like she shut it off and took it out. And she's like I'm selling this. I'm taking this game away. And I didn't really care. I didn't want the game. So what happened was I remember there was a friend at the time, and he was interested in Splatterhouse 3. Like, so I asked him. I called him up. I was like, "Hey, do you want to trade a game? I have Splatterhouse 3 for you, and I'll trade you a game, whatever you want to give me." But I remember I was looking at one of his games, and the one that I was most interested in was Dr. Robotnik's Mean Machine, which I do have. It's over there. I'm not gonna get it, but I do have it. Now again, I rebought it. And I like that game, the puzzle game, Doctor Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. It's basically like Puyo Puyo, where you just match up the color slimes, but it's like a Sonic twist on it. Like it has like it Sonic's not in it, but it has Doctor Robotnik and it has like Grounder and Scratch from the cartoon series, the very first cartoon series. And it has a bunch of other characters that they made up for the game, and I have fond memories of it. I enjoyed it. I really loved it. I would happily. I was like, here, take it, take Splatterhouse 3. I don't want it. Like it's too scary for me. And I remember that I traded it and everything was good in the world, and I beat the hell out of Doctor Robotnik's Mean Machine. And then at some point, I was like, I want my game back. And isn't that weird? I was scared of it and I wanted to get rid of it, but for some reason now I wanted it back. I don't really understand it, but I guess it's because I wanted to face my fears or something like that. It does have something to do with it. So I remember uh because of this reason, and I seeked it out again, I had a falling out with my friend at the time. And like the mom got pissed and she didn't want me to come over the house anymore because of this reason. What happened was I went to his house and I was like, Keith, I was like, listen, I want my game back. I'm gonna give you yours back. He's like, no, no, we traded, and it's true, we did trade, but I wanted it back. And I just remember I was like, and then we got into a fight, and like basically our moms like got into a kind of a fight too because we talked about it, and I wanted my game back, and they explained the situation. My mom explained it to his mom, and there was like this like falling out. So it was like it's so stupid and petty when you think about it nowadays. I mean, we were kids. I mean, what can you expect when you're kids? You're kids. But eventually, it finally happened. Like he didn't want to give it up, but the mom made him give it to me, and she was like, "Don't bother us anymore." So I lost a friend because of that. Isn't that? It's funny. I lost a friend at the time because I wanted the game back. Silly. But anyways, I did get it back. I gave him his game back. It's not like he didn't get his game back. I gave him his game back. So, and I got it, and then the rest is history. I faced up to my fears. I was still scared, but I managed to get through it, and I kept it until all my stuff disappeared, and I had to rebuy it, and I have to rebuy my stuff. But yeah, it's that those are like the top things that I remember as a child of being frightened of from games. Which the first thing I mentioned with Super Mario Brothers 3, that wasn't even supposed to be meant to be scary. It's just something I created in my mind. As the thing I just said, the second thing was actually something that was terrifying. It was supposed to be terrifying and all that stuff in it. It affected me as a child. And I mean, I look at me, I love it now. I love horror. Like, I grew up watching horror movies at a young age, and I still like horror movies to this day. And I sometimes they still scare the shit out of me, depending on the movie. It really depends. There's a lot of stupid horror movies that are just dumb. Then there's horror movies that are actually well done, that are actually scary, and those kind of affect me a little bit. But I can't get enough of this stuff now. I love Splatterhouse. I love the entire series. Um, I went back and sunk my teeth into a Splatterhouse 2 cartridge. I have Splatterhouse 2 again, and yeah, a lot of people. Well, I know Derek Alexander, the Happy Video Game Nerd. He's a Splatterhouse guy too. He's a fan like me, and he doesn't like Splatterhouse 3. He thinks it's the worst in the series, which I can see why. I understand his points, but it's my favorite in the series because mainly because I guess because I played it first, and to me it's the most terrifying one, and it has so much like story, and it has like all these branching paths that you can do, and all these like things that like happen that you can view. And I guess the thing is it's ridiculously hard. Splatterhouse 3, it's cheap hard. Like in the later levels, if you get hit twice, you're dead. It could be just a tap. If you get hit twice, you're dead. So it's like it's kind of a broken game, but I still, it's just my childhood, man. It's you know what I mean. But anyways, that's it. I shared my story. Um, I probably didn't share it before. I don't think I did. But it's out there now. Yay, I shared it into the YouTube land. So, yeah. And I wanted to test out my webcam and everything. Hi. And see if everything's working correctly and whatnot. So, yeah, do any of you guys have any stories like that from early parts of your childhood in gaming where something scared you because of a game or something just you held on to something all these years since then? That'd be interesting to know. So yeah, well, I guess I can talk a little bit about before I go like what I've been into lately. Um, I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter. I really, really got back into Monster Hunter. I played Monster Hunter Freedom on the PSP. That was my first exposure to the series, and I fell in love with it. Kinda. I must have put like 430 hours into the game before I was completely done with it, and it was a great time. And that was back in like that was like early 2000s. I forget exactly when that was, but it was when Monster Hunter Freedom for the PSP first came out. I had a roommate that at the time, and we both got it. And we played a lot of it together, and some friends at the time, and I loved it. And for some reason, after that, I just never seeked the series out. I don't know why. I mean, I really loved it, but I don't know why I didn't seek the series out until recently. A few months ago, I picked up Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for the Wii U, and it's like crack. It's basically like crack. If you want a game that's gonna give you your money's worth, you're gonna spend a lot of time on it. It's fucking Monster Hunter. Now I know that Monster Hunter, it's not for everybody. It doesn't have the biggest audience in America, although it is gaining popularity. But it's amazing. You can spend. I know people at the bare bone. Like if you look at the basic bare bone concept of the game, you just fight bosses over and over again. That's the game if you look at it that way, if you look at it simply. But there's so much in between that, the intricacies and nuances of each weapon. Each weapon is like a different game almost, and like you learn the weapons and the monsters, you learn the patterns, and you get better as a hunter. I mean, you kill fucking these large monsters, you carve their fucking bodies, you take their bones and blood and like skin and faces and armor and shit, and you make it into weapons and armor. It's fantastic. I fucking love it. It's addicting. So I played. I need a drink. I played from the moment I started Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I just played for weeks and weeks and weeks, and like a week or two ago, I got up to like over 500 hours. I surpassed my Monster Hunter Freedom file. Uh, yeah, and it's great. It's great. Uh, Now here's the kicker. I got Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate for the 3DS. I got it because man, dude, it's Monster Hunter. It's Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Look, I had to get it. I said I wasn't gonna get it because I wanted to wait for a Wii U version, but I don't think they're gonna put out a Wii U version because it doesn't sell as well, because like I mean, what do you expect? The Monster Hunter audience is kind of niche already, and on top of that, you put it on the Wii U, that doesn't like a console that hasn't sold much, and you expect it to sell. Like, no, you know what I mean? Um, so I don't think they're gonna bring it to the Wii U, but I have the 3DS version, and I've retired Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate because for the 3DS version, the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Underwater battles are gone, thank God. Wasn't a big fan of that. Um, it's just land now, and the new tweaks and stuff to Monster Hunter 4. It's the best Monster Hunter yet. They can't go backwards from this. They can only go forward. Just everything is perfect. Like falling from like long heights and just landing and then jumping and then running again without stalling. Like you fall and you're stalled because you're getting up and everything. Dude, the like climbing, jumping, mounting monsters, like jumping on their backs and like doing jumping slashes from cliffs. Just everything about this game is fucking fantastic. I've been having a blast with it. I just started it like almost a week ago. It's been like almost a week, maybe like 4 or 5 days I've been playing this. It's been fantastic. I've been loving it. I mean, if you guys play these games, let me know. Um, and we can get a party together and go hunting. It'll be fun. So like the whole you heard about the new 3DS thing. It's again the names. 3DS on its own is a great name. 2DS that's dumb. That whole thing is dumb. Uh, you know, 3DS XL, a bigger version, is I guess it's fine. I mean that's what I got. I had the original. I still have it, but I upgraded to an XL because my hands are kind of big and it cramps my hands. This still cramps my hands, regardless. But the 3DS XL is better. But now they have the new 3DS. It's like did you hear if you buy a new 3DS, it doesn't come with an AC charger. It doesn't come with a charger for the system. They expect that you already have a charger for this, which might be true in some regards, but what about the people that haven't bought into the 3DS yet? What if they were waiting for a specific time? What if they don't have a 3DS at all and they're like, "Oh, a new 3DS, let me get this." And it's like you have to buy the charger separately. It's like we live in a world. Do you realize this? We live in a world now where you have to buy something that's supposed to come with the hardware separately. Man, shit's getting bad. Not only that, but the you hear about the SD card debacle. To get into the SD card of the new 3DS, you have to buy these tiny screwdrivers and unscrew the back plate of your new 3DS just to put in and remove SD cards. Nintendo. That's why I refuse to buy it. I'm like, no. First of all, I already have my 3DS XL. It's all I need. I don't care about the upgraded 3D, the face tracking. That should have been in there from the beginning. You kidding me? That should have been in there from the beginning. That's what the 3DS should have been from the start. And yet they're doing it on the what's the next how many editions are they in the 3DS library? Is this the fourth? And now they have that. And let's talk about the analog. It's not a C stick. Everybody's calling it a C stick. It's a fucking C nipple. Okay? You mean to tell me you're gonna use a regular analog, right? And then have this tiny little nipple and it's not gonna feel unnatural? I haven't felt it. I don't care to. I haven't really like went to a store and like see if they have a new 3DS to just test out. But it just does not look good. Okay? Give us a real analog, not a fucking little nipple. It's just the decisions that Nintendo makes. Sometimes they make some good ones, and then, like I said, they make a bunch of shitty decisions. So I'm not supporting that system, anyways. Um, but yeah, I mean that's what I've been doing. Monster Hunter 4, and of course Majora's Mask 3D S, which came out. That's been great, even though there's some problems with the game. The remake, to me right now, it's kind of like Ocarina of Time remake, where it's not better than the original, but there are some things better than the original. It's like on even grounds where some things are worse, some things are better, and blah blah blah. But anyways, this video is going long enough. I haven't made a video in a while, so I wanted to talk about that and get that out there. And yeah, it's been fun. And now I know that I at least got that story out there. So yeah, I'll have to try to think of any more stories I can think of and make another video at some time. At some point, anyways, I should say rather. But yeah, anyways, see you later, guys. Take it easy.